Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we will be talking about Married at First Sight. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out my website, lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like these cute butterfly earrings. The link is down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. It's so crazy to me that on the third or fourth week, this is only the second time they've met up with the experts. Now you want them to meet up with Dr. Viviana after everything is going up in flames? They should have been meeting up every single week, FaceTiming. Why don't y'all come administer these little activities y'all give? Now, not all of them. Clearly, the one Bow and Johnny was doing, they need to do that by themselves. But like some of this stuff, I think y'all should administer because these people do have different communication styles. They've already butted heads and it's caused major issues. So why are you not here to be a mediator? I don't get it. And also, for those of you who were upset with my rant last reason and who I included in my rant, Zach Hive, I'm going to talk to y'all later. But I hope y'all saw this episode, what I was talking about, especially with Ryan and Zach exhibiting the exact behavior Johnny has been exhibiting this entire time. They did the same thing. They ran as soon as it got too hot and heavy. And I know a lot of y'all are going to say, well, Zach need to run. Zach need to get away from her. Well, he needs to leave her altogether instead of stringing her along. We just don't match. We just don't match. Well, leave her. Leave her. Because him stringing her along, that's not cute either. Man up. Instead of leaving every time it gets a little uncomfortable. Or if you know for a fact that you don't want to be with this person, leave. Do what Rachel did. Rachel did what you were supposed to do if you actually really feel that way. Let's start with Mirla and Gil because they had the least mess going on this episode, surprisingly. Actually, they had a little bit of a breakthrough. They gave me a little sunlight, a tiny little flashlight's worth this episode. I guess I needed a tiny pick-me-up. So they meet with Dr. Viviana. At this point in their relationship, she rates the relationship a 7, he rates it an 8. But physically, he rates it like a 5. He's clearly not fully satisfied, and we have this full conversation about him feeling rejected physically, and if he keeps feeling that way, he's gonna pull away. And he feels like if you're attracted to me, you say you want kids with me, but you won't kiss me, your words don't hold substance. And she places kissing and intercourse, she places that on the same level. She says she just wants to connect on a deeper level, and she later revealed that she has trust issues from being cheated on. And this is why I say I feel like Mirla is not getting the best edit, because why didn't we know this from the jump? Like, if someone had been cheated on, they would make that a part of their storyline as to why they are the way they are. And rarely do I have not heard that yet. Maybe I missed it, but all we've heard about Mirla is that she's basically bougie, high maintenance, and takes it slow in her relationship. But I feel like knowing that she was cheated on in the past would be like a great little tidbit y'all should have included to let us know why she's taking it so slow. They get into the conversation about him saying that if they don't kiss before decision day, then he's definitely going to ask for a divorce. And she told him we're not getting a divorce. I think she was telling him in that moment, I'm going to kiss you soon. That's what he was saying, but he was so focused on, his feelings. Later on, they played a game where I feel like they really did get closer, physically. I do feel like she was being difficult. I feel like she should have been a little bit more open to participating in these activities. Because I remember Iris from a couple of seasons ago, who was married to Keith. I remember, she was a virgin and she was participating in these things. But anyway, it just seemed like you could kind of see them developing a connection during that game. And clearly they did, because soon after that, she ended up giving him a kiss. And, Gil was just so giddy about it when he told his friends. He was so excited. Yeah, I got my kiss. I think in a way she was testing him to see if he would be willing to wait. So I'm just glad to see them in a good place. They still had their little bickering, but at this point I feel like that's almost like flirting for them, because they love to banter back and forth like that. So let's talk about Johnny and Bao. Now, they really didn't have any sort of conflict this episode either. I feel like Johnny is like a teenage boy having his dreams be fulfilled. Honestly, that's the way he acts in general. Like, he treats his relationships like a teenage boy would. How someone with no relationship experience would view relationships, very unrealistic. But I feel like right now, because she's like catering to his, you know, physical desires, he doesn't really have any complaints. Personally, I just feel like this is going to be short-lived, because he's going to find a way to criticize her one way or another. I just know it. I guess I'll give him his props this episode. He was decent. So she opened up to him and was very vulnerable with him about her being poor growing up and her being very ashamed of it. And she also said that her dad was an alcoholic and had like a terrible reputation in her neighborhood, and I guess he would influence some of the other fathers in the neighborhood to drink. And because of this, her friends in the neighborhood were forced to like cut her off because the mothers did not like what was going on with the father. And that really was like a deep source of embarrassment for her. Bao definitely seems like she might have like some daddy issues, because those feelings just did not seem like they were resolved. Like, it seemed fresh the way she was talking about it. Like, she was just, it took her right back speaking on it, and you can see it all over her face. Now, maybe I'm looking too deep into this, but I feel like she looks at Johnny as like her dream guy, like someone that she probably would have never been able to attain. In her child's mind, she feels like she could have never gotten someone like Johnny. That's somebody she would have, in school when she was younger, she would have looked at him like the popular guy. Like, I could never, you know, be with someone like that. And so maybe that's why she puts up with Johnny, because she just never felt like she could actually have someone like him. And like I said, maybe I'm just going too deep. Maybe I could be wrong, but I'm really trying to understand why she is so patient with him when he does not deserve her patience. So then we had Dr. Viviana. And Dr. Viviana, one of the first things she said was that she was impressed by them. I'm like, girl, have they been sending you all the footage? Like, have you been getting the correct notes? Like, impressed? Like, they've been having the rockiest of relationships. Maybe she's impressed that they are still together. I don't know. She asked Johnny, has he been putting her through tests? And basically he said, yeah, like when they were making the bed, he was putting her through a test there. And like when she was cooking, I think he was putting her through a test there. Like, he's been testing her this entire time. And I don't know why he thinks that's cute. I don't know why Bao seems like she was okay with that. I don't know why Viviana was okay with it. I just feel like it's the wrong mindset, and it can easily make you focus on the negative. Like, oh, she didn't pass this test, so I'm about to get mad and I'm about to go home, or I'm about to give up because this is not what I want. Like, I wonder why Viviana didn't correct him on that, because I feel like that is I understand, like, you do have like little tests in your mind for your partner, but it seemed like every little thing she does, he is testing her on. And if she fails, he's ready to leave. So I feel like that deserves some type of correction. It just reminds me of this IG post that went viral not too long ago, where this guy said he took his girlfriend through the absolute worst, and I guess she passed all the like evil tests he gave her, and now he's gonna give her the world. Like, that's devious and that's evil. I don't know if Johnny's on that level, but I just don't think that is a healthy way to view a relationship. That is so toxic. And then they start talking about their physical intimacy, and they seem to be very content with one another, but I guess they want to take things to the next level. So the experts gave them this game where they, you know, dressed up like a nurse and a patient. They have the whole lust thing on lock, because I just feel like Johnny is a teen boy in heat. I don't know if they're truly like connecting emotionally, but physically I feel like he's getting what he wants, and that's why he's like simmered down for the moment. So let's get into Brett and Ryan. Okay, Brett and Ryan came to a head this episode. I am glad that they addressed the issue head on. So they met with Dr. Viviana. Even Brett has commented on how long it's been since they've seen Dr. Viviana. Like, it's been that long. Now, in the beginning, she says he's the most affectionate man that she's ever been with. And, you know, clearly we know that Ryan is not really into her. So that just says a lot about the men that she's chosen in the past. She even, talked about this later on. She's always felt like she's been in one-sided relationships where she's given her all and she's like cared about them, but they never returned the favor. And it really broke my heart to see her break down and cry over that, because, I think in one way or another, we all have experienced that. And so it's just so tough to watch, because she seems like she's just such a good woman, and like she really be a catch for somebody. And I hate the fact that he's not actually opening up and giving her the opportunity to be that for him. And or maybe he don't deserve it, I don't know, but it just, my heart broke for her, and I just want her to know that she deserves better. You don't have to be, in a relationship with someone who doesn't feel the same way about you that you feel about them. And I know that's something that she said that she doesn't want, but for her not to recognize that in him, clearly there's something off within you to accept that and even put it on a pedestal. Dr. Viviana literally has to pull it out of him that he just feels stuck because, he doesn't feel the same way about her that she feels about him. And he's waiting for the spark. And she let him know real quick that is not real. Like I said last week, that is a romantic comedy. She said that's a fantasy. That is not real life. Real life is not about a spark, because a spark is not going to give you a lasting marriage. At the end of the day, you are going to have to work for something that is long lasting, because you having a spark has not worked. Well, in the past, I've always felt a spark. And are you still with that person today? Did you sign up for a show called Married at First Sight where they choose your partner and a spark is not required to have a successful marriage? So after Brett broke down, Dr. Viviana wanted to talk with him alone because it was just too much for her to hear that, and he said that, she's not his type. And it's just like, if you're going to try. If you're not going to try, leave. If you're going to get hung up on every little thing, if you're going to get hung up on the fact that initially you weren't necessarily attracted because you have a type that has not worked for you in the past. I feel like I keep having the same rant every single week, but just talking about a different person. So later on, she met with Michaela, and she said that ever since they had that conversation, he's been at home because he needed a reset. I wonder where he got that from. Johnny is a bad influence. She said that he doesn't really show that he cares at all. And she said had they not been married, she would have been left him. And at least she knows her worth in that aspect. So later on, she cooks him dinner. He sat down and he explained to her that he was shut down before. Now he claims that he's more open, and he really wants her to call him out the next time she feels that he's being standoffish. He doesn't typically fight for his relationships, but now he is trying to step up to the plate. And Ryan, I really hope this is the truth. I really hope that you will step up to the plate, man up, and actually try to fight for this. They do the typical tantric yoga that the couple that's having problems with intimacy does every single season. I feel like they could play the same clip over and over every season. I never see where it helps. It is what it is. We'll see, y'all. Once again, I don't know if I have the faith that they have, but maybe they'll prove me wrong. Let's move on to Michaela and Zach. So him and Michaela are supposed to be moving past their issues and working on, their marriage. They want to make it work. So they decide to have a movie night. He was supposed to run back to his apartment and grab his TV. And instead of coming back with his TV, he decided to stay. That was dead wrong for y'all to make plans like that and not follow through. If you tell me you're going to do something, you better do it, or you better have a really good reason of why you can't do it. It sounds like a cop-out to me. It sounds like this was his plan all along is, let me say I'm going to go get my TV, but the whole time you was going to stay there anyway. And I think that's jacked up to do, to get her hopes up, get her excited about having a date night with you, and then let her down, even though you knew good and well you wasn't going to come back. Because I feel like you knew before you even left that you was not coming back. And that's trifling. He said that she was upset, but she calmly expressed how she was just really hurt by him. And I feel like that shows that she's trying when they meet with Dr. Viviana. And I feel like his behavior this entire session was slightly erratic. he has some form of high anxiety, and I feel like they were at their limit during this session. I don't feel like he has the coping skills for them though. They begin to talk about trust, and she says she only trusts him 50% after him blowing her off last night. She's willing to work past it. He claims to trust her word, but doesn't trust that she won't overreact and have knee-jerk reactions. And he basically said this has permanently scarred him. She feels it's unfair to bring that up all the time because she forgives him when he messes up, but he doesn't tend to forgive her in this situation. And Dr. Viviana said that's kind of like, that shows like a lack of commitment to her. You know, he brought up her knee-jerk reactions, and she says she hasn't reacted like that since. And this is where he gets really confusing to me. He said he doesn't think she's done anything wrong so far. I think he feels like her actions are fundamentally ingrained in her, and therefore she cannot learn from it. Therefore she cannot change. Therefore she cannot grow. I don't know, y'all. I just feel like that was kind of unfair to say about someone, that she is not capable of change. She at least has been trying. So Dr. Viviana leaves. I don't feel like they came to any sort of resolution, but she left, and so they sit down together and talk some more, and he literally breaks all the way down crying. He feels like he's done everything that he can do. He doesn't want to hurt her. Clearly you want out of this relationship. It's like you don't want to be the one to end it for some reason. But if you really feel like you can't be with this woman and she can't change and there's nothing you could do, why won't you leave? Why would you even want to try to make it work with someone like that? Like, why are you sticking around then? If she's that bad, why are you still here? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, I'm completely flabbergasted by his behavior. Like I said, I do think he experienced anxiety. You are making this harder for yourself. I just don't get it. And somebody in the comments said, well, he can't leave because he'll get fined. No, you can leave the person that you're in a relationship with, but you just have to agree to also get filmed afterwards. Mindy, who was married to Zach, confirmed this. She was able to leave him, but they just still had to film. So you can leave. He's just choosing not to for whatever reason, and it's so irritating to watch. So they have a date night where they go swimming when it's obviously cold outside, and they're like freezing their butts off asking these like deep questions to each other blindfolded. And at one point he said that he doesn't see a future with her, and I feel like that would have negated every other question. That's why I'm not going over everything they said, because I feel like that negates everything. You don't see a future with her, why are you here? Zach Hive, answer that. Why is he sticking around then? If I wouldn't have stuck around either, I wouldn't be with her either. Well, tell me why he's still there. Tell me why he won't leave. Do you want to torture her? Do you want to constantly throw in her face how bad of a person she is? Because I don't care how you feel about Michaela, she doesn't deserve to be strung along. She doesn't. Zach, this is on you this time, and you need to take responsibility for how you're handling this. Now, I'm not saying Michaela is perfect by far. Yes, she has made mistakes. Yes, her behavior has been very knee-jerk, and yes, she definitely overreacted. Yes, she definitely has cursed him out or whatever, but that does not justify Zach's behavior. And I feel like a lot of you all, especially Zach Hive, who had the nerve to slide in my DMs and try to check me about what I said last week, I feel like his behavior this week proved exactly what I was saying. I said what I said, okay, and I'm not changing on it, because both have contributed to where they are now. And I feel like if she was matched up with someone else, she would have the bad attitude that she's always had. If Zach was matched up with someone else, he will be finding every little thing to nitpick and any reason to leave as well. She's just more upfront and direct, and he's just very much passive aggressive. So finally, let's get to Jose and Rachel. What is going on here? I was completely blown away by what I saw. Even though we got the previews, I did not know it was going to be like this. It's crazy because at the very beginning of this episode, They sat down with Dr. Viviana and everything was perfect, gumdrops and rainbows. They were gushing over each other like they've been this entire time. You know, they said, I love you. They claim they fully trust each other. And then the next thing you know, they're hanging out one night and randomly by accident, she called him by another man's name. Do y'all know how many times my grandmother calls me my mom's name? To the point where if she calls out my mom's name, I just show up anyway because I know it's 50-50 she talking to me. Like, it's so easy to mix up people's names. Not to mention, y'all's relationship is only 3 weeks old. I just don't understand how it got blown out of proportion like this. She said as soon as she did it, she apologized immediately after, but it didn't matter because Jose lost his ever-loving mind after that. So the next thing we see is security cam footage of him cursing her all the way out and threatening to kick her out over her calling him another man's name by accident. How you gonna kick me out of something that's not even yours? I guess the producer was in there being a buffer to them during this situation. And so when the producer was getting ready to leave, I believe Rachel walked the producer out and, you know, so she could have a little bit more time to talk it out with someone who was neutral. And when she came back, how about she was locked all the way out? He deadbolted the door. Like, did she not have a phone? Because she literally knocked on other cast members' doors looking for help. I could not believe what I was seeing. That is like one of the most trash moves I've ever seen on this show. To lock your wife out of her home. On top of that, being so vindictive and so cruel, it's dangerous. She is a woman and you locked her out of her home. Talked about, well, I got to secure my home. I didn't know if you was coming back. She didn't take anything with her. So why did you think she was not? Did she say she wasn't coming back? What gave you the impression that she wasn't coming back? No, you were just being nasty because your little ego got bruised. There's no way a man should be treating a woman like that. There's no excuse for that. And especially the way he was speaking to her in that tone. So not only did he lock the door, deadbolted, but he went to sleep like the sociopath that he is. And so the next day they're discussing it and he has the most flippant attitude, so unremorseful, so unapologetic, just has no regard for you putting her safety in jeopardy like that. And he was really trying to play it off like, well, I didn't know if you was gonna come back. I didn't even know. So you lying because you didn't even try to call to see if she was gonna come back. If you really felt that way, don't you think you should text her or call her and just to see? Regardless of where y'all are in your relationship, you would check on her to see if she's okay, to see if she's coming home. So then she calls him out about how he spoke to her and she said she's not going to stand for that. She said her parents didn't raise her to accept that mess, and I was so here for her, like standing up to him and not going for it because it was unacceptable and it needed to be called out. She said she no longer wants to be with him, and he was just like, oh, good, awesome, great. Just brushing off like it don't even matter to him. And then he was, I'll help you if you need help. And then just still cooking, just like he just so unbothered. And at this point, I'm thinking like, Rachel, just be happy that you did not move in with him and that y'all didn't end up sharing a joint account because you already know how he is. He would have pulled all that money out and he definitely would have kicked you out of that house. So she was about to leave, but then she came back because she wanted to make sure she got everything off her chest before she left. And she let him know that there has been a buildup. And we know this, like she's been having problems with certain things that he's been saying, but she just has not confronted him about it. And I do feel like maybe she should have been more honest and upfront about how she's been feeling about his controlling behavior, because we've all seen it. So it's valid that she felt that way. I just wish she would have allowed him to overlook it and continue that awful behavior. She said she felt like she had no say in their future and like he's controlling. And she feels that he's not compromising with her because she doesn't fit into what he thinks his perfect mold is. He said he feels betrayed and blindsided, and she admitted that she was wrong for that. And she takes accountability for holding these things away from him. But she told him that you can't take accountability for anything whatsoever. And he just said he's not going to apologize to her just because once again, he's not remorseful at all. And I'm like, girl, I don't know why you're looking for that. He ain't sorry. He's telling you right then and there that he ain't sorry. Like, he's saying that in so many words. Like, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear just because you want to hear it, because he does not feel remorse at all. He does not feel like he's wrong. He felt like he was completely in the right to lock you out. And he feels like you should come back and groveling at his feet. And really, this is the type of emotional manipulation, and he would eventually have control over her. This is how men gain control over women. You know, at this point, Rachel is completely done. She goes and meets with the other ladies at a rage room. By the way, y'all, I want to go to a rage room so bad. I have so much anger to let out. I just do. I just want to smash a TV. I want to break a table in half. I want to throw glass. I want to do all of that, y'all. I feel like I could tear up an entire room by myself. I really could. But anyway, she was just telling the lady she was completely done with him. She doesn't want to be in the marriage anymore. She feels like he doesn't care about her at all, which he's shown that. I just hope she stands behind it. I hope she doesn't let him weasel his way back in, because what he did was completely disrespectful and uncalled for. And, you know, the way he treated her, he showed his true colors this episode. So then we see Jose meet up with the men. Even the way he brought it up was a little bit disingenuous, because he was like, yeah, so she asked for a divorce last night. Almost like she asked for it out of nowhere. But then he explained that she called him by another man's name and maybe I overreacted. The way he told the story is that he went to the bathroom, and by the time he got back, she was gone. So he locked the door and he went to sleep, and he unintentionally locked the deadbolt. And Ryan was like, I ain't never accidentally locked no deadbolt. Like, how do you accidentally lock the deadbolt? No, you don't. That's not, you can't do that by accident. And I thought it was hilarious because Gil was not having it. And this was one time where Gil was perfectly in the right for being messy and calling him out because his story was not adding up. I was so here for Gil. Literally none of the other guys believed his story. They knew he was leaving things out because they already knew what happened. And so he really was trying to push the narrative that Rachel might have been cheating because she left without telling him and he didn't know where she was. And he was trying to make it seem like, you know, she was already a cheater, so it would be easy for her to slip back into those ways. Like, he was really trying to damage her reputation to these men. I guess Ryan had enough, and so he put him on blast. He was like, look, this is gonna come out, so let me just say it anyway. The name that she called him was Johnny. Yeah, like Johnny and Bow Johnny. The way you lost your ever-loving mind, I really thought that she at least called him by her ex's name. Johnny, do you really think she wants Johnny? I was so outdone. I was so outdone. Boy, bye. Boy, bye. And I was just so glad they clowned him. Each and every one went down the line and was saying how stupid that sounded and how he overreacted and how dumb he looked. You know, they didn't say it in those words, but they were clowning him, and he was just standing there looking stupid. He was standing there looking stupid, and I was like, yes, take it all in, because this does not make any sense whatsoever. I hope you feel like the clown that you are. I hope you sit there and you feel like the clown that you are. Because that doesn't even make any sense for you to get that mad because she called you Johnny's name. Ain't that your best friend on this show? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, other than you were just using this as an excuse to throw a tantrum on her and further press your controlling ways. Because this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I feel like he truly wanted her to grovel at his feet or something like that, because his behavior doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And Rachel, run. Don't walk, run. You better not go back to him. It is not worth it. Y'all let me know how y'all feel down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion in the comments, not in my DMs. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.